All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Countless Vlogcast, episode 29. My guest today is Deston Munden. He's a writer, and I'm going to bring him on and talk about his books, projects, his start as a writer, and hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing well. So tell us a little about yourself.
Hello, Deston Munden. I'm a fantasy and science fiction author from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I currently have two books out named Dust Mountain Blues and Tavern.
Okay, great. So how long have you been writing for?
I've been writing for about 4 or 5 years, professionally, but
Okay.
I've been writing way longer than that, about 10 or 12, if you're counting like the me starting out.
Okay. So when you first started writing, what inspired you to write? Like, was it your environment? Was it like fantasy? Was it like stuff you read as a kid?
It was a bit of everything. It's a bit
Mm,
of stuff that I read as a kid. Video games was a
mm,
huge inspiration for me. Um, and just movies and music and just my general environment and
mm.
what I wanted to see change in the genre itself, the genres
That's,
that I write in.
that's great. So what were some of your first books you wrote when you first started writing out, like professionally?
Tavern is the first professional book that I wrote. It's a fantasy D&D type story following a orc protagonist who actually has social anxiety like I do,
Mm,
but he has to like protect his city with like his using his mind
mm.
and his talents as a druid.
Oh, sounds
So
really,
that
really dope.
yeah, thank you. So it was one of my first like big projects that I actually saw finished from like start to finish
Mm,
that I actually put out there.
great. So what was the feedback when you first published that book from like the audience?
I'll repeat that.
What was the feedback from the audience when you first
Oh,
published the book?
it does really well. Like
Mm,
right now it has like a 4.4 on
wow.
Amazon and like a 4.2 on Goodreads with like 50 like almost 50 reviews.
Wow.
So like the feedback has been good. There has been people that have been like, hey, this is what you need to work on a little bit here and there. But like that I incorporate in the next book and as I've done like previous like subsequently.
Mm,
But like from there, like it's been a good feedback and the community is really nice. Has been really nice to
mm.
me.
That's great. So what's your recent book you published, and what inspired that?
I recently published this book, Dust Mountain Blues.
Okay.
It's a science fiction, kind of science fiction western, like based off like Red Dead Redemption. Like I call it Red Dead Redemption meets X-Men, and it follows basically space hillbillies trying to like fight against colonization. So
It's
it was
it's
really
a
fun.
pretty cool concept, though. Pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
So, what was that process like when you first started writing it?
It was an interesting one because a friend sort of suggested it, and like we kind of bounced ideas back and forth. Like in his mind, he was thinking it's going to be just as western, but then I was like, that's not my style, so I'll do it in space.
Mm,
And from there, I had to like, it just took a lot of like me kind of like wandering through my creative process of just let's see what comes out,
hmm
and like it was funny because like there's quite a bit of scenes where people were like, "Whoa, that was really cool. How do you think of it?" I was like, it kind of happened out of nowhere.
It's
So
always great when you have something that comes out of nowhere, but you like the concept works though.
yeah, like, and that's always fun to have.
So, what makes you different from other writers in your genre?
I do think that because I am a Black author, it helps a
Mm,
lot to like do like some different things that you don't really see. Like a lot of my like characters are like diverse in some sort of way, whether it's like LGBT,
mm,
neurodivergent, like with disabilities, and just general like diversity in the characters. Like the main family of Dust Mountain Blues. You would think that would be just all like, because I kind of coined it as like hillbillies. It would be all one race, but they are a mixed race of like different characters, like Korean, Irish, and all them. Korean, Irish, Black, and all, and it's in one big family. So I wanted to like, I feel that what makes me like different going into this genre, because I go in with the idea of like diversity kind of like on a like automatic level. Like I go in without like really thinking about diversity. It just sort of happens.
Wow, that's amazing. So in terms of like difficulties and like good things that you found with like creating with the book, what are some of the difficulties, some of the like the great things you found creating the book?
Some of the difficulties I had, was it was difficult to get into the mindset of certain like characters, because they are so much, some of the characters were so much older than me, and like it got to a point that I had to like kind of sit back and like work through specific scenes, because these are characters that have grandchildren and children, and I don't have that yet. I'm only 29, but like it was difficult to just kind of get into the mindset of being like a weathered man that like has to like deal with protecting his family and make ends meet his own way. And like in terms of like actual like writing, it was just hard to get the timeline of the like book itself in terms of like what happened before in like in history and what is happening now, and keeping that like aligned. And that's always really difficult with the details.
It's definitely a great concept, though. So, who are some of your influences in terms of authors and writers you like aspire to be like, or like inspired you to like write your genre, if you have any?
There's quite a few. Like the easier ones is like George R.R. Martin from Game of Thrones and Brandon Sanderson. But some of the like lesser known ones is probably like is a author named Gareth J. L. Powell on Twitter that inspired me to write science fiction, because he's really nice and he's really open about his process, and just general and the Expanse series is a good one for my science fiction too, because it was amazing. But other than that, it's just general music and video games that have like helped me inspire me into certain games, certain books. D&D is the biggest one for my fantasy.
So in terms of like writing, what's your method of writing? Do you like sit down and like look at a blank page? Do you like listen to music, play games, and like write at the same time? Do you like write and then like at the same, or do you write after you like do something like productive, or like how's that work for you?
It starts off with me on a blank page. I can just throw out some words for a while, but like eventually I get to like this pace where I need some music in the back, and it will help me like. I need a like specific type of music in the back when I'm writing certain scenes. It will help me just get into the mode of the scene. There are times where I will just sit there and have like a TV show or anime in the back on my other screen, and it helps me just not think about getting myself stuck. Like I feel like a lot of people get so involved with writing and make it perfect the first time, where you just need to have the words down. So it helps to have something to distract you while you're writing. So that's at least my writing process.
Okay, great. So in terms of like the business side, what are some of your like methods of branding and promoting yourself? Do you self-publish or did you use a publisher, by the way?
Huh?
Did you self-publish or use a publisher?
I self-published.
Okay.
I'm often active on Twitter and Reddit and Facebook. That's my big three like branding platforms. Ads are important. I'm still learning how to like give good ads. But I do have an ad coach now that has helped me like promote the ads better. And but it's important to just be out there more. I want to like start a YouTube channel one day and give out advice for self-published authors because it's a lot of conflicting advice in self-publishing, and I would like to like kind of set that clear to help other authors to get used to like branding themselves. It's not bad to self-promote yourself, but you got to know where to do it and when to do it, because there are certain subreddits that allow it, some subreddits that don't. You have to be aware of what you're doing going into like self-publishing and advertising your brand.
So before people self-publish, what would you recommend before they do it? Would you recommend like they research the process first? Would you recommend they talk to people? How would you think people go about that?
I would definitely tell you to research first. It's important to get that research out there and talk to people that is in the self-publishing industry. Also, read self-published books. It will help you to see what quality you are looking for. Because I see a lot of people just throw a book on Amazon and expect it to stick, and you don't know the genre that you're going with, the people in the genre, and like what you should aspire for. And it's not a competition, but it is. You need to be aware of who else is there with you to know how to like be in the market.
All right, so we have a question from like the one of the audience members. They want to publish in the same genre. Do you have any advice for them? Like your kind of genre? Any advice for them to self-publish?
I would say specifically for fantasy to get in contact with people that knows the genre like better than you do. That's a big like a big important part of like any genre. You need to know who's there. Twitter is a great place to meet people for that because they have a like a writer's list hashtag is a perfect way to see who's in what genre and who you need to like interact with and get to know people. Just make friends. That's important in the publishing like industry. That you got to make connections. It seems like it'd be a lonely job. It's not. You can't do it by yourself.
Okay, great. So, in terms of like editors and publishers too, do you since you have like a personal editor and publisher you use from now, or like you use different editors?
I have a personal editor, and I also got a personal cover artist. I had to switch editors from Tavern to Dust Mountain Blues, and then my editor from Dust Mountain Blues is going to like redo my Tavern because we had like me and the editor and the first one wasn't like vibing too well, but like I got the book out still. But like it's important to find an editor that will work with you. And you do not skip the editing process. You need an editor. I don't like care if like don't go outside your budget for your editor, but get an editor. Get someone to look at your work and get it and help it get and develop it. I wouldn't say like it's important, but not so important that you need to be in debt for. That's a big thing because I've seen people spend like thousands of dollars on editors, and the editor is doing something like the minimum amount of work. So be careful who you hire. Have them edit a sample page and see if you liked it. That was one of my first mistakes. I didn't let him edit a sample before I put the money up. And it kind of cost me a little bit. So don't do that.
That's great. That's great advice though, because I think a lot of people like that really haven't published their first book yet. They assume they should like send out their first copy and instead of sending like a rough draft, they can send a sample because you don't know like how reliable they are too. So you want to see how they work together, you know. So
yeah, exactly. You don't know how like reliable they are or how much care they go put into your work. So you have to like give them a sample first and then get it out there. And also just be aware, be aware that like for cover artists, do the same. Like see a sample of their words, give them references, make sure that your cover looks good. I know what people be like, don't judge a book by its cover. That's a lie. That's a lie. People gonna judge your book by its cover.
Yeah.
Get a good cover artist.
Well, that's the thing, though. A lot of people say the same thing too. The way you said. So it's like people like if everybody's saying that the people publish author to be published like 3 to 4 books. So you're like getting all these great reviews now. So people are looking at your book cover first and all that. So it's good to have that too because you want to stand out too. Like the society we live in too, people want looks first before you will see what inside. People look outside for look inside. So
Yep, you're right.
So in terms of like this quarantine, how has it affected your creativity?
It's been kind of a mixed bag. Like where I am sitting down and writing more, the like state of the world has been kind of like heavy. But it has helped that like I've been writing stuff that kind of reflects that. And it like kind of gives me inspiration to like give an outlet for some of the like injustices I feel. So I could like sort of spin it in a way that's like, okay, this is how I feel without being like preachy about it, while also like giving myself a way to like chill. So it's been like both positive and negative. It's been getting my work out, but like get my work out more consistently, but also it's heavy on the mind.
So in terms of like the book world, what are some things you want to expand on and learn about more of?
I do want to learn marketing a lot better, but also I just want to like get better at the craft itself. Because there's like little small details and intricacies involved with writing fantasy and sci-fi, and they're both like completely different, even though like they have like a middle ground. But like fantasy readers like certain things, and sci-fi readers like certain things. So you have to be like careful of like learning which audience likes which. Especially if you're a multi-genre person like I am. I would suggest you would like pick one genre first. Like me, I was like, let me tiptoe in both of them. No, like don't do that. But first, get to know like what like I want to learn more about how to like engage people a little bit like closer in terms of like writing and emotional. Like I want to hurt some people's feelings.
Yeah. So in terms of your audience, from where you started out to now, how has your audience changed from like the beginning? And who was your audience?
Oh, that's a good question. At first I was like, oh man, like I'm writing for everyone. That's not true. You're not writing for everybody. You have a target audience in mind. Mine is usually like men and women around like 18 to like 35 that likes like D&D for fantasy and like Mass Effect and video games for science fiction. Those are my people that I'm aiming for because I know they're people like me. I know that genre. That's a genre I like to read. So I picked a target audience like me to make it easier on myself, like what I like to read. So 18 to 35 men and women, usually diverse men and women, but like everyone in that bracket is really welcome and to read my books and they'll enjoy it. But I have had people older, like 45 and 55, be like, yeah, this is great. But that like usually it's 18 to 35. The people that only like scroll to Reddit.
Yeah. Like you said, like you started with 1835 and then expanded without you even knowing it too. It's like you never know who's gonna read your book, but you want to have like that target market too, because it's important to like people will set like a set market, so people gonna buy this book or at least like share it with somebody like of the same interest as you, and then you expand to like 45, 50-year-olds too. So in the same like genre.
Yes, sir.
So what do you want people to take away from your book when you write?
first off, I want you to actually feel good about like when you finish my books. My books aren't quite like super dark, and I don't really kill a lot of my characters off often, but when they do, it is it's meaningful. And but like I want you to like realize like the problems that I present is real life problems too. Even though it's like in a fictional world where like dragons and orcs and goblins are like raiding villages or whatever, or in a sci-fi world where it's like spaceships and AI, there is still very human-rooted problems such as money, corruption, uh, racism, etc., and how they have to deal with that, and what you can learn from those characters in those situations. So that's one of my big takeaways I want in the themes of my book.
So do you find people are reading your book, you get the feedback too? People are like a favorite character, a favorite like scene couple book. It's like different for everybody.
Yeah, it's a little bit different for everyone. Tara has one scene that everyone like once they get to it, they're messaging me about it like, "Hey, that wasn't cool," and I'm like, "Perfect. That's the reaction that I wanted." And there is one in Dust Mountain Blues towards the end. People didn't expect it to end the way that it ended, and like that feedback was just that was good. That was
good. That's great. So, in terms of like advice to younger authors out there and people struggling to get their book out there, any advice for them?
Yes. I'm going to say, don't get caught in the what I call the preparation loop, where you start in a book and keep wanting to prepare it instead of actually starting the book. Like, world building is fine. World building, character building is fine, but you need to write the book one day. And like a lot of young authors get in their head that like, oh, it needs to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be readable and connect with your audience, but it's never going to be perfect, and you're never going to get everyone on board. You're gonna get low reviews, and that's going to be fine as long as you learn from them. Some low reviews, it's just not their taste. But like the thing is, you need to get it on paper before you do anything else. Word count and working through the actual book is more important than it being perfect. That's the takeaway that you need to, as a young author, and that I wish I known when I started, because I kept starting projects, preparing it, and then getting upset that it was not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Even when you get it out there, it's not going to be perfect. People are going to see problems. You're going to see problems. And that's important. That is important in the growing process. So let yourself grow. Write the book.
So next question for you is in terms of your next project, what are you working on? A little snippet of it. What you're working on? Not too much to give away, but like a little snippet.
I'm actually working on my third fantasy book that's in the same genre as Tavern, where you get to see familiar characters come back, and we're back into, because the second book diverted from the first book's characters, and a lot of people were asking to have these characters back from the first book. So you get to see these characters in a more interesting situation between two separate cities about to go to war.
Okay, great. So in terms of where can people find your book at? Social media, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Sir Buffalo Knight. You can find me on Facebook at DJ Munden. You can also visit my website at djmunden.com. And you can and I am available only on Amazon for right now, but I do want to get in other genre, other distributors. But I'm only on Amazon right now, and at Deston J Munden. You can look it up on Amazon. I have an author page there, And I am going to be releasing an audiobook
Wow.
of both of them in 2 to 3 months. So look out for having the audiobook versions of both of these books within July, August, or September.
Wow. Can't wait for that.
For my narrator.
So, finally, I like to end this with like a words of positivity from you. Anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah. Just keep going. I know it's gonna be hard the first few times to like get through a book, but you're gonna just have to keep going. And when you get to the coring and whatever process that you're going to go through, you're going to get rejected more than you think you are. You think that like you are going to get rejected. It took me like about 70 or 80 rejections to be like, okay, I want to get this book out regardless of how the publishers want, what the publisher want. Because it was never a question of quality with my traditional publishing ventures. It wasn't something they were looking for. And that's a taste thing with agents and publishers. So you gotta explore other options. Gotta have a backup plan, learn more about both traditional versus self-publishing, because self-publishing has a bad rep at some point and traditional has a bad rep at some point. But you can only change what you need to do. Figure out what works best for you and work with yourself to build character and your skills.
Okay, thank you for coming on. Anything else like to share? Anything else you'd like to share or plug?
You can find me on Twitter and Facebook, and keep an eye out for the Dust Mountain Blues. Oops, sorry. And the Tavern audiobook coming out later on this year.
Okay, great. And thank you, Destin, for coming on, sharing your experience and a little about your book, and giving advice to the people out there. I appreciate it, and wish you well. And congratulations on all your successes.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. You have a good day now. And thank you guys for watching the Countless Vlogcast, episode 29. My guest, author Deston Munden. And thank you guys. We're out.